Today we're going to show you how to make one of these fabulous little sunflower pom-poms. In your kit you'll have enough materials to make 3 of these. So you'll find that you have one larger ball of yellow yarn, a smaller ball of brown yarn, 3 cable ties, they will become the stems of your flowers, and then 2 pieces of card, the larger of which is for your yellow yarn, the smaller of which is for your brown yarn. Now we're going to start with the yellow. Find your end, begin to unwind. As I said, you have enough here to make 3 sunflowers. So we're going to start by making the first. So, as you can see, your card is labelled top to bottom, and we're going to wind in this direction. So we take your yellow yarn, place it over the top, just gently hold it in place with your thumb, doesn't need to be exact, and we're going to wind 55 times. Now, if you lose count, don't worry too much. It doesn't have to be completely specific, obviously it helps, but we're going to wind enough to create 1 sunflower, and don't run out because you need to make 3. So we're going to wind 55 times. Ten. Try and keep them straight if you can. Doesn't matter too much if you go a bit wonky. 55. Okay, once we get to the end, we can leave 2 raw edges. Take yourself a pair of scissors and just snip on the end. So you'll find you have 2 pokey out ends. That's absolutely fine, don't worry too much. Okay, so we can put this down for the moment, leave that there, move your yellow yarn out of the way, and then we can start on our brown. Again, find your end. Your brown yarn may look slightly different to this one. This is an alpaca yarn. We have included acrylic yarns in your kit in case any of you have allergies. So we're going to repeat top to bottom, winding this way again, this time only 20 times because this becomes the center of your sunflower. Again, hold that gently in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Again, just cut the end off so you've got 2 little tails, and then we can move our yarn back out of the way. Okay, now back to your yellow yarn. Here's where we remove it from our card holder. This is fairly simple. You just slide it off one of the edges. I've wound this just a little tight so it becomes a bit tighter to get off, but that doesn't matter. So if you're a bit loose on your winding, that will make it easier to get off the card. If you're winding tighter, it obviously gives you a more even feel. So we've taken that off the card. You're now going to find your center. So as you can see, we've got lots and lots of loops. So we're going to place those down with the loop hole facing upwards. We're then going to remove the brown in the same way. Again, doesn't matter about your loose edges just yet because we're going to trim them. Repeat the process, find the middle, making sure you've got the hole pointing towards you, and then we're going to pop that, we're going to nestle it inside the yellow. So as you can see, we're already starting to get something that vaguely resembles a flower. Now, you're going to take one of your cable ties and we're going to wrap around. So with your cable tie, if you've never used one before, you need to make sure that this grooved section, that becomes the lock. So you need to make sure, place the end through the hole. As you can hear, you start to feel it locking. So when you've created a loop, this is when you can pop it just over the middle there of your sunflower, as central as you can, and then just gently push it up. So I'm pushing with my thumb and using the tail in these two fingers. So you can do it holding, you can do it a different way, you can do it this way. You can hold and pull if you're finding that easier. You just want to get to a point where you're fairly tight on the bottom of your yarn. So then we hold that up. Make sure that this base section, which becomes essentially the knot, make sure that's to the bottom of your brown, so because that's the underneath. And then we pull that as tight as you can, making sure that this is the time where you can wiggle these to make sure everything's central. So you want to create basically even spaces either side. So these are fairly evenly spaced. Again, doesn't have to be exact. Every flower is different. And then just pull that as tight as you can to make sure that it's at the bottom. Okay, so that's fairly tight now. Now, here comes the fun part. Taking your scissors, find those loops that you created earlier. So essentially where you've got that loop here, we want to cut those because we're going to separate these out. You can do it all in one if you like. You don't have to. You can just take a section at a time. Be brave and just cut through them. So do all of your yellow from one side, turn that over and do the other side. As you're putting the scissors through, try and pull up so that you get an even spread both sides of the scissors, if that makes sense, so that when we cut, we're essentially going to get similar sizes either side. So we do that, then moving all that yellow out of the way. Hold those, sort of create a little nest for all the yellow. Just tease all the brown out, and then we're going to do something which feels incredibly brutal. We're going to start chopping away at this. This always feels a little scary because you've created all this wonderful work and now you're chopping away at it. I've got some fairly big scissors here. If you're a little nervous about this, you can always use some smaller scissors. Got a few here, so you can just trim those gently, obviously being very careful not to cut too much, not to dig into the yellow and not to dig into yourself, more importantly. So we can trim those, blow the excess if you want, and then just give it a shake. As you can see, we have created something that vaguely resembles a flower. This is when you can tease the yellows out to see if you've missed any loops, and we have. There's one here, look. So let's trim that away so that we've just got lots of loose ends. Looks a bit uneven at the moment, but we're going to fix that. If you want, you can also retrim your centerpiece, your center floret, to tidy that up, give that a little bit of a haircut. So we can do that. And then, as you know, sunflowers are quite even, so we're just going to go around trimming off in a circular motion any sections that we feel are a little bit straggly. For example, this side, a bit long. Created something a little bit more even. That is your first sunflower. So you have enough in your kit to make 3 of those. Obviously, just repeat. And then from there, you can do whatever you like with your 3 sunflowers. You can plant them into a plant pot so that you get a nice little flower. You can even connect your 3 sunflowers together as you go to create a ribbon. So I've done this by, as I've go in, just before I pull the cable tie incredibly tight, I slide the ribbon underneath the cable tie. and then you tighten the cable tie, and then you can move these up and down the ribbon as you see fit, like so. And this you can use to wrap around a plant pot. This also can be used as a hair tie, as like a headband or a necklace, or you can make more and more and more. You can make them, add them to jumpers. You could even on the back put a little section here. Through the cable tie you could put a safety pin so you can wear it as a brooch. You can put it onto a keyring. The possibilities are endless. It's entirely up to you. And if you like that process, you can repeat it with extra yarn you have at home in whatever colour you see fit to make yourself some beautiful pom-pom flowers.